So we have another potential site for the Arizona Coyotes' new arena. This whole episode, we'll be talking about that.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Locked On Coyotes, your number one daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes. I'm your host, Robyn Leonio. That's Matthew Jacobson right beside me. We got a great show for you guys today, as the Arizona Coyotes could potentially seize an opportunity, Matthew, of a new potential building site over the this week, we found out that land was purchased from the Salt River Reservation. That Boardwalk, Arizona, just purchased almost nearly 50 acres of land from the Salt River Reservation.
It's a very specific number, actually.
48.8
acres.
Yes.
And that's not me trying to cut you off. That is me just trying to accentuate what you're saying, because what does that number look very much like? It's actually the exact size, I think, plus or minus 2 acres as the TED. That was on 46 acres, correct?
I believe it was within that range, like 46 to some even projected as much as 50. Mm-hmm. So it's like we're playing with what, an acre or two. Like it's there's like that is really close in size.
Yeah, and this, I have the tweet from Greg right here, at Greg Dunaway, just that we're properly citing our sources. And I wanted to really lead off discussing this. I also have an article from bizjournals.com to kind of look over real quick, because this is fascinating, because this is very convenient. And this also, disclaimer, there has not been a single report from anyone, credible or not, that the Coyotes have called on this, they are anywhere involved in this, or that this is something the Coyotes have looked at. However, there are a lot of things that do line up for the Coyotes to potentially swoop in. And in this tweet, I'll just go ahead and read it for you real quick. This is huge news in the Coyotes arena search. 48 acres are now available for development in the 101 corridor throughout the company that owns and operates the Arizona Boardwalk. Primo land for a, quote, dynamic entertainment. And if the Coyotes are not talking with them, they are crazy, which is 110% correct. If the Coyotes have not made calls in some way, shape, or form, at the very least, ever since this was finalized, they're crazy. Because this is some great opportunity. Like, this is land. Like, this is prime real estate. And it's actually right around where we talked before. Maybe Robyn decides to get fancy and put something in later. Maybe she doesn't. But we did mention the Salt River, near Talking Stick Resort. They're right across the street, essentially, from Salt River Field, where the D-backs play. And just to give you a little more context, it's literally just north of Odyssey. It's this giant plot of land. This is a premier location right there on the 101. If they're not calling to at least see if they can strike a deal, this is ridiculous. All right?
Because,
absolutely.
Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. And what really got me peaked, and because you're right, it is right north of the Odyssey. And I'll just go ahead and show a maps overlay that was from the source that we looked at from Greg Dunaway. Mm-hmm. Take a look at this right here. Right, I'm putting it right on YouTube. This is the exact screenshot that he had on Google Maps that he put out in his tweet, and of course I'll link you guys to the tweet so it's properly properly credited. But Odyssey Aquarium right there, and you had the Talking Stick Entertainment District / Talking Stick Resort. It's becoming an entertainment district over time. They're building a lot of stuff down there. Within just literally just like, hey, I believe that's Dobson Road, right next off of Talking Stick. So it's right there. It is a really convenient location for a lot of things to happen. People can kind of have a decent amount of time before going and move up there, and still, it's just a unique location, and I love it.
And it's literally like we talked about, and we did talk about it on a previous episode where we kind of justified what we meant by more centralized location with Fiesta Mall. This is pretty much dead center where you'd want it to be for that East Valley. Like for the Scottsdale, North Phoenix, Chandler, it's a slight bit of a drive, but it's really not that bad. Like, this is perfect. All right, 100% perfect. And Arizona Boardwalk secures 48 acres for future land development. And I do want to read the statement again. If Robyn would like to throw the statement on in post, she can. But it's I want to get to the actual release in a second, but the land like this does not just show up. Land like this does not just have the opportunity every single day. And again, I'm not making the conspiracy theory that the Coyotes were involved from the start, not making the conspiracy theory that Meruelo is involved in this, nothing like that. All I'm saying is the acreage, the time of it being secured for future development, the location is all very convenient in the context of this could work if all the parties involved get on a call together and like the things that are being said.
100%. I think what's interesting is the fact that Arizona Boardwalk pretty much said, "Hey, we're open to we're communicating with developers, and we want the best possible use of this land." How I believe just the timing of it, Matthew. The timing of this all does not seem coincidental to me, though. Again, there's so much speculation. A lot of this is speculation.
It's all speculation.
It is all speculation. It's all 100% speculation. We could be so far off, but it just does not seem coincidental. The timing of all this, from the failure of the election, knowing what the size of the TED was, to the statement saying, "Hey, in the coming weeks, we will talk with local officials. We'll look at new sites." And look, Salt River technically that was considered as local officials. Arizona Boardwalk just happens to have purchased the land. A developer can just come in and it's like, "All right, this is ours." That developer very well could be Alex Meruelo. It just does not seem coincidental to me. Again, we could be wrong. It just seems just too, I don't know.
Look, it's I want to get into the statement so I can properly convey everything. And it says from the Scottsdale Salt River Maricopa Indian Community. And I was reading an article today. If you will allow me, I want to tease a little bit from my personal stuff. I do plan on going over this article and kind of saying yes or no who has been confirmed to have gotten a call from the Coyotes at this point. It's a very short list, actually. I do believe that was one of the parties that were not currently in negotiations with the Coyotes. So again, this is all speculation, but it all lines up perfectly. But do you want to know what isn't speculation? All right, FanDuel. Let's go ahead and get to that overlay so we can get paid. So, take a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs, or NHL playoffs if you prefer, because right now new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. And look, I'm someone that likes to waste a little bit of money, right? Have a little bit of fun. And I do remember I put down some money on Mikal Bridges to be Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years back. And you know what? Especially if you have the ability to get a no-sweat bet, why not go ahead and just have a little bit of fun with your $5 or $10 you got lying around somewhere. There's no better place to bet on the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Get a no sweat bet up to $2,500. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA, and I'm pretty sure NHL, but NBA, got to stick to the script.
Absolutely. So I mean, you mentioned the the statement. I do have the press release from Arizona Boardwalk available if you'd like me to pull that up.
Yeah, so that way people don't see how I fumble over my words while I'm trying to read here.
All right, let's put it up.
All right, so Arizona Boardwalk at Talking Stick has announced the acquisition of an additional 48 acres of land for future expansion. Located north of the current designation alongside Arizona State Route 101, Loop 101, the land presents a unique opportunity for companies seeking to co-locate with Arizona Boardwalk, the valley's well-established and popular entertainment mecca, anchored by Odyssey Aquarium and Butterfly Wonderland. The new development is uniquely positioned to benefit from Arizona's Boardwalk's current large and diverse audience with over 2 million annual visitors and its prime location that sees more than 160,000 vehicles pass by daily. I want to cut that off real quick as someone who spent a lot of time in the East Valley when I was doing electrical work back in the day. Yes, that is very much accurate how many cars go by.
As someone that works in that district, yes.
Oh, yeah, you do. That's right. Anyway, let's get back on track. The Talking Stick Entertainment District and Scottsdale Entertainment Space is thriving, and the area is booming with a significant influx of visitors, said Rob Kinishki. I do apologize if I'm terrible with names. A managing partner at Arizona Boardwalk. The new property has incredible potential for innovation and collaboration with leaders in the family entertainment industry. We are eager to speak with visionary companies that will bring their exceptional ideas and original concepts to this entertainment-driven market. I want to cut it off there real quick, all right? Entertainment-driven market. They want entertainment. Obviously, it's no secret that the land just south, all right, if Robyn ever wants to put the map back up, just south of what we're talking about, they want to build a baseball park. This has been a thing. It's been conversations that we've all known about for at least like 5 or 6 years. Robyn, you want to add a little bit onto that real quick?
Oh, you're absolutely right. I believe we talked about that location right next to Talking Stick Resort as a potential spot to put the Arizona Diamondbacks, even the Arizona Coyotes, to kind of see, hey, that's where something can be. And I'm gonna do what I did last time and bring up my good friend Google Earth because
I love it.
I can never say no to Google Earth. But look,
pretty much the land they wanted is right down here, isn't it? Like right at the bottom of your map.
Yeah, so this location right here is where it's going to be, where the land was purchased. Mm-hmm. This right here is where I thought, hey, that'd be a perfect spot. That is like incredibly close.
Mm-hmm.
Because like either way, you have, you got, Arizona Boardwalk. You got, what they talked about, Butterfly Wonderland, Odyssey Aquarium, Talking Stick Resort. You got the golf club right there. Hey, you got a Top Golf right there. You got Salt River Fields. Like, it is an entertainment district. It is built for entertainment. That's why it mentions that. You bring in a sports venue, or maybe 2 sports venues. Like, that's incredible. That would be an incredible opportunity.
That would 110%. And the fact that land right there, and they do specify the language here. I want to find the space that it really caught my eye. How they want to, where the HE heck was it? I'm trying to skim back over it. But they essentially say that they want to like co-lease, because this wouldn't be land that the Coyotes would be able to buy. I want everyone to know that this is not land the Coyotes can purchase. But if you get involved in this partnership, and they're already saying right now they want more entertainment. Now, there was the reports from Craig Morgan. I'm not 110% sure exactly how much fire is on this, but there is a report from a credible journalist that essentially if the Salt River Indian community wanted to get into bed with the Coyotes, they would want new ownership. Now, don't know what form that would take in. Anyone that knows me and has been following me on Twitter knows I'm pro HBA to the point where I'm now harassing him once a day until he either buys my Coyotes or blocks me. But something to keep in mind. Just keep that in the back of your mind. But the Coyotes have generally had very good relationships with the local tribes. The Arizona Coyotes need a new home. This is a very, very similar plot of land in terms of overall size that this would be perfect. Literally be perfect.
I mean, especially because, you talked about it being a co-lease and everything like that. Because let's look at it this way. Because the land was essentially, it was purchased by Arizona Boardwalk. Mm-hmm. So it is now essentially owned by that. Is it still on tribal land? Yes, but it's now owned by that. Like, they have now that company has reign to kind of choose how they want to develop that, right? Obviously, they still have to go to the tribes and how exactly things go. But I believe now a lot of because we talked about what I think you mentioned, like it would normally take like 10 years or whatever if you want to go through.
Yeah, I think Craig Morgan was quoted as saying it can take 5 to 10 years to get the permits and everything required to build
that's through the normal process. This could potentially speed things up a lot
if there is interest. Depending on the temperature of that report, that the tribes would want different ownership because of the gaming license, and it also wouldn't work with Ishbia. But if Ishbia buys them, he'd move them downtown, and probably that rumored arena plan that's been reported that he might want. It's all rumors, nothing has been confirmed, but it would make it that much easier to just build an arena with hockey and basketball in mind, and there's plenty of places you could do it still downtown. So it wouldn't work with Meruelo or with Ishbia more than likely, but that's just depending on the temperature of that report. I want to get excited because they want entertainment here. They literally have it in their press release that they want entertainment on this plot of land. And the Coyotes already have the blueprints for an entertainment district literally with the same footprint, essentially. Now, there are a lot of issues. Again, because this is still tribal land. There is no private land ownership. I don't know how much of that can be changed or is subject to whatever because of Arizona Boardwalk essentially acquiring this. This is stuff that I am way out of my element. I'm trying my best to understand it as we go through. But there would still be the issues of having a physical sports book. There would be the issues very likely of having the residential. So there would still be a lot of issues. But if you just keep with the arena concept, potentially the theater / practice facility concept, and the shopping, this would support the high-end shopping. Craig Morgan brought up a great point, just to keep citing my sources, when he said that the Fiesta Mall location very likely could not support high-end shopping. Robyn also gave her opinion, essentially agreeing with that a handful of episodes ago. This is different. This is at North Phoenix, kind of Scottsdale area. This is where the money's at.
I just took a look at something, Matthew. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing the map back up, just the map from that we got from Twitter. Mm-hmm. That red line right there at the top of the border of the land that they secure, mm-hmm. That is the northern border of the Salt River Indian community. North of that is Scottsdale.
It's literally right there. It is literally right there.
And to the other side of the freeway is Scottsdale. Theoretically, Meruelo can put a sports book and literally just on the other side of the border.
Theoretically, because, correct me if I'm wrong, right here on the 101, there's literally already a shopping district and also like I think that's where the White Castle is. But there's some open land here you can see, or in that shopping district, you can put whatever you want on the actual like city-owned or privately owned city land that isn't Salt River. Now, again, there still could be complications. That could be a workaround that the tribes would see disrespectful or not want. There are so many ways this could not work. Just to be fair, keep everyone's expectations realistic. However, what this Greg individual said that the Coyotes would be crazy if they weren't calling, I 100% agree with. They would be insane to not inquire about this, because if the right deal could be struck, and if, because of this land essentially being secured for development, that could speed things along and you wouldn't have to go through this long, arduous process, we could have an arena before the end of the fourth year of Mullet. You could literally sign that fourth year and do what they did when Glendale Arena opened. You play the first half in Phoenix, and then like December or whatever, or January, whatever it would open, you could have them just switch over to the new building.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the process can, it can move really fast. And I think that's the thing is, and a very reason why I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, the timing is just, it seems too much. It's just doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. That's because it just doesn't feel that way to me. And especially when, look, if they haven't already, but especially given the fact that the Phoenix Business Journal posted about that land, and and they asked about, hey, would you consider the Coyotes? Like, we're open to all ideas. Like,
they didn't say no.
They didn't say no.
And again, that also could come with them wanting different ownership. Just again, to stake with all of our sources and all the information that has been given to all of us, that's
Yes.
publicly accessible, that could mean that. Or it could mean we want to hear the price. It could mean, do they still want residential because we're not doing that? It could mean any number of things. Positive, negative, neutral. Doesn't matter. It could mean any of those things, but they did not say no. And that is important to think about right here, just with how perfect all this seems to line up. Just from the naked eye, just looking at it and some basic 2 and 2 math, everything lines up so perfectly here that Meruelo needs to get on a call if he hasn't already. Start talking numbers. Start being like, look, if we can't have the residential, I'll kick it out. If we can't have the sports book, I'll build it across the street, if that's okay with you guys. Whatever you have to do, whatever is the individual thing or series of processes you need to go through to get this done. If this is a realistic possibility for the Coyotes, this is 120% the best bleeping possibility. 100%. Like, that is right where you want it.
Sorry, go ahead. There is a reason why I said initially in the first couple of days after the election, and I put that Talking Stick Resort location as a potential, because I'm like, look, because the 101 is right there. If for those who are who don't understand the valley, the 101 loop is like the biggest loop, essentially the most important loop in the valley, because like past this through the West Valley all the way on the west side, goes all the way through North Phoenix and then back through Scottsdale and into Chandler. Like, it is a massive loop of a highway that takes so many people. And again, through that statement, through this press release, that it says that location sees more than 160,000 vehicles passed by daily. Like I said, I work in that area. I know how many vehicles pass through. I sometimes literally looking out the window and I see how many cars pass by. Like, yeah, that is a lot of cars. Someone even actually mentioned sometime like at my work about a week, maybe even earlier this week. It's like they said, hey, I kind of just did a rough count and I did some math of how many vehicles pass by this location on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, that is, yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a really good thought. For those that are thinking, I want a location that's more centralized in terms of valley wise.
There isn't downtown Phoenix. Like,
that's all they want. They want downtown or midtown Phoenix.
Downtown is not going to work.
No.
Like, there isn't more central. There isn't. I'm sorry. Yeah. Than downtown or Tempe, there is not a more central location.
Yeah, you can't get that. And then the other one was like, oh, we want something, off of the light rail. And the only closest the closest thing besides that, of course, would be downtown, or like that Mesa location. We maybe do an extension or whatever because Fiesta Mall you can figure something out or shuttle or do whatever. This is definitely not in the path of public transit. But let's be real. As we mentioned, most Coyotes season ticket holders are where, Matt? Scottsdale. But
Chandler. Probably some North Phoenix in there.
Gilbert, too.
Like where the money is.
Yes. And those people are commuters. They drive. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, this is people. Just to address this real quick for the last little bit, people have essentially told me they don't think that I'm as optimistic or as like confident like lately, and it's like it's not it at all. What it is that we're in the end times. We are literally in the end game. Either sign that deal, force a sale to Ishbia, or the team relocates. There is no fourth option. It's either this ownership gets it done, they force a sale to Ishbia and they stay here, or they're not. At this point, we are just waiting for the confirmation. I still think the team stays here. There is still, even just breaking it down that way, knowing the amount of opportunities that Meruelo has to keep him here, there's still a 2/3 chance, minimum, in my opinion, they stay here. But we still can't, get rosy and celebrate yet. We still got to wait for the confirmation. So I'm just waiting for it. But when we have, premier land opportunities like this, they need to jump on this.
Yes, absolutely.
Or Mesa. One of the two. Pick.
Fiesta Mall, Ishbia, or
this
location, Talking Stick. Alex Meruelo, if you are listening to this podcast, you probably not.
Open your wallet. Open it up. All right. There is
turn on your phone and make the freaking call.
Yes, make the call. There's money to be made here. All right. You know it. You also know it's with Sahara Bets. There's also literally an uncapped amount you could make, even if you can't have a physical sports book, even though it would do you better if you did. Across the street helps. All right. But even if you can't put the physical sports book there, there is literally no upper limit to the money you can make there. And this is already the most expensive sport. I hate how expensive the sport is, but if you want to make the money, you have to go where the people have the most disposable income, where the most of your season ticket holders are, where the most amount of people are going to be just fine with $30 to park and overpriced beer and $200 for a jersey with an advertisement on it and don't care about that. That's where you go. And then people like me will just wait for sales when players get traded, and I'll grow my jersey collection cheap because I'm a cheap bastard. Get it done.
Get it done. Absolutely. And like we said, we have players likely have a deadline to know clarity. We want to know clarity. Get this done sooner rather than later. Make the call. I want to know this summer. If you made the call and are edging out a deal. But again, and I will reiterate what I have said, Matthew, time and time again. Even if a deal is made, I'll get off edge a little bit. I'll still be on edge, and I will not believe anything until I step foot in that arena and my ticket is scanned.
You're too cynical, Robyn. You are too cynical, or I'm just too optimistic. But if you get this deal done, I will be very, very happy boy. Get it done, or join my Twitter campaign at the AZ Sports Guide every single day. We're going to be tweeting at Matt Ishbia until he buys the team or blocks us. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a grassroots campaign. So regardless, we're going to get this done, and the team's not leaving.
No, the team is not leaving. We will... I think, we will start just a campaign in general here on Locked On Coyotes. Whatever you want,
we'll stand in front of the doors to block them from loading up the moving trucks. All right, we live in the Old West. I will get a bow and arrow because I can't threaten gun violence. But I will get a bow and arrow and I will sit outside the practice facility and I will protect our assets. You're not leaving with my Kachinas, damn it.
Nope. Yeah, absolutely. No. I will refuse to let them leave.
Gonna hold them hostage. That's a locked-on promise. We don't break campaign promises because we don't make serious promises.
All right. Any final thoughts before we close things up?
Either make the call to them or make the call to Matt Ishbia, Meruelo. Tick-tock.
Yeah, TikTok indeed. Time is ticking down. And you said it perfectly earlier. We are in the end game for Arizona Coyotes fans. Arizona Coyotes in general. The next move is yours. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that's it for today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you've yet to already. We are available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube and the SiriusXM radio app. You can interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, and on Twitter at @LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leano. Matthew Jacobson is at the Easy Sports Guy.
Oh, wait, that's not my name. My name is Matthew Jack Boson.
Jack Boson.
My old wife didn't even realize I spelled my name wrong, and I was like, yo, you literally took that last name.
If you don't understand, follow us on Twitter and interact with us. Ask us a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.